Hello, everyone, and welcome to For You. I'm Tim,
I'm Adam.
and this week we've got a very special guest. We have got an Olympic champion with us. We have got the one and only Greg Searle. Hello, Greg. How are
Woo!
you?
Hello, boys. How you doing?
We're doing well. How are you?
I'll tell you what,
That's
Tim,
good.
I'm
Yeah, all right,
absolutely gutted.
actually.
I'm
Yeah,
gutted. I'm
everything, the
gutted,
highs
Greg.
and lows of lockdown, really, but no, I'm doing okay.
Highs and lows of lockdown. Well, lockdown's starting to change a little bit now. We're starting to see things to open up. But you've done a video for us previously, Greg. That was what's important during lockdown.
Yeah, and I think that was really back at the time, towards the beginning, when I thought there was this real spirit of friendliness and we were really in it together. You know, there's a proper common purpose. We were properly kind of going out of our houses for our allocated amount of exercise, and you're talking to the people you hadn't spoken to ever in your life before. And it kind of felt like London 2012. And I was thinking, oh yeah, this is all right. And I think the reality that's kind of sunk in, and I think the behaviour of our leaders, I guess particularly Dominic Cummings, has kind of said you can do whatever the hell you want, and it's become a little bit of a free for all. And it seems, obviously with world events as well, that we've definitely moved to a different stage, and people are a bit more disgruntled, and people are feeling the pinch, unsurprisingly, and not many of us, myself included, are exempt from that. So yeah, it's certainly not seeming like it's a sort of extra long bank holiday. It's seeming a bit more uncomfortable right now, and now we've really got to tough it out, I think.
It's really interesting, actually, Greg, about doing what you want. I was really wondering why Tim was wearing that disgusting T-shirt, but it's probably because he's just doing what he wants. Terrible T-shirt.
Excuse me, but this T-shirt's a nice colour. What are you wearing? You're wearing like an
Uh,
olive green. Come
I
on.
I was also going to say, Tim, I'm absolutely gutted because no offense to you, but I used to be the most attractive man on these calls, and now Greg's joined. I've gone down to
Uh,
second place, so I have to say I'm starting this call on a slightly back foot, but I'm fine with second as long as you're okay with last.
Well, actually, no, because at least one of us did make some effort with the hair. I mean, come on, Adam. Yours is like getting big.
I'm fine. Greg, thank you for joining us. Fantastic to have you with us today. I want to go on to ask you a few more questions, but Greg, I suppose I'm fascinated because I imagine you must be interviewed a lot over your career and post your career. I'm really interested in almost what are you most bored of being asked? Because I don't want to ask that today. So, what were you most bored of being asked in interviews?
well, I suppose it's all the transactional stuff, isn't it? It's how much do you eat? How much training did you do? Those sorts of things that are basically the same for every Olympian, every person who's done a sport and pushed themselves hard. So it's to go to the opposite end of the spectrum to that, really, which for me is kind of how do you feel in some tough moments, or how it's that different level that I like, and that's why actually questions from people that you don't expect are often the most interesting because it takes me to places I hadn't thought of, I'd forgotten about, really.
And on that, Greg, could you make any parallels with how you've been feeling during this period and potentially how you're anticipating you may feel in the next coming months with times where you were kind of in peak of training for obviously one of many Olympic Games that you competed in?
Yeah, I mean, I think uh, it's making each day important and not letting days just blend into one another and letting ourselves have no focus. That I think, an Olympiad of 4 years or 5 years, if you're going to Tokyo 2021, is a long time that you look into, right? And your goals, you think you've got goals. You think there's going to be an Olympic Games coming up. But it's still a long way away, and you try to break each day down and make each day a masterpiece and make the day important. And I think, for myself and my kids are 17 and 19, to see them not having purpose and focus and direction is quite difficult. So to try and help them to do that and say, no, today you do have to get out of bed. It is worth getting up. It is worth getting on and doing something.
Yeah.
So you feel some kind of personal validation at the end of the day seems important, even if the reward is not going to be going to the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
But if it's that, you do some things that feel meaningful to you, then that feels quite important. So I think it's really similar because when you're doing the Olympic Games, no one really cares what weight you lift in a gym or how long you sit on a rowing machine for or whatever. It's pretty irrelevant 3 years before the Olympics, but it matters to you. And I think for me, that's what feels important, that people, myself included, choose to do things that are important to me and achieve them and then feel good at the end of the day.
It's really great, Greg. Just one more question from me before I know Tim. I think I can really resonate with that, because I suppose probably the opposite end of the spectrum, I can't get my kids to stay in bed for long enough with the 2-year-old and the twin boys.
I bet.
But it really resonates, because I think we find ourselves just doing almost the same routine and then not really valuing each day. I'm almost, how are you supporting your children with finding purpose with the small goals each day? Almost what advice could you give other parents, but also other families and individuals, to help them and help their loved ones find purpose each day?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd say, what are you going to feel proud of at the end of the week? Almost a little chat on Sunday. What are you going to feel proud of by the end of the week? If you've, and it's then, decorating a bedroom or weeding a flower bed or, organizing your music or if it then becomes reading a book or doing some schoolwork or something. So to actually go, yeah, at the end of the week, I'll feel quite proud if I manage to achieve that. Now, you don't always achieve it, of course, but at least you then go, well, at the end of the week, I want to do that. So in the morning, I better make sure I've done a little bit of tidying these things up or sorting these things and putting them on eBay to get some money coming in. Or whatever it might be, to go, what are the things you're going to do? Break it up and then go, oh, yeah, at the end of the week, I put my adverts on eBay and I sold those,
Like, this isn't a drive traffic to your eBay account, okay? This isn't drive traffic to your eBay account.
Yeah, no, come on by. It's not got, I mean, like I say, it's stuff that, it's not what we used to do that would be our regular day jobs. And for my kids, it's not the things they would have done. You can't go out and get babysitting right now. You can't go and get a job in a shop if you're a teenager. It's hard. So it's trying to encourage them to do those kind of things, which, they've been looking to do for ages and say, oh, yeah, I keep meaning to flog a bit of stuff or, get fit. This is an opportunity to use that. Otherwise, it's very easy just for that not to happen. Like we're saying, the days just kind of drift. So, no, set some goals. What would you like to have at the end of the week? What would you like at the end of the month? What would you like, by 3 months' time? And then you've got a chance of having some purpose each day.
So, Greg, what's your goal for the end of the week and the end of the month?
It's good. Yeah. So there is a little bit of eBay. There's a bit of getting my Spotify account sorted out, so I'm not paying, too much money for, one of them's on Apple Music, one is on Amazon, and we've got a Spotify. So come on, let's sort out the tech. Put some stuff on eBay. I do have some work, so I've got some work to follow up. I've got old contacts to keep in touch with. I've got friends who maybe aren't finding life that easy to just get up and speak to. And then it is things around the house, and then I never thought I was a gardener. I'm only 48. Don't think I've ever been that interested in what the flower borders look like. But actually, if you kind of have some earth and then some green flowery things, then some more earth, it kind of looks a bit better, doesn't it? So I'm doing a few of that, those little things. Which again, it would have been meaningless. It would have been meaningless to just walk past it in the past. But it's actually, oh no, look, I did something there. That looks quite good. So yeah.
Greg, your gardening advice may live the test of time. Some turf, some green stuff, and it looks nice. Greg, I have to say, you should try one of the apps. My partner's using it. You basically show the flower and it tells you what flower it is, and obviously then how to take care of it. But yeah, technology, get on the apps.
That's quite cool.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Greg, I'm really keen to pick up on one of your points there around you talked about some of your friends that aren't finding that easy. I think we probably all recognize that this situation, this period, a lot of people will be finding it incredibly hard. There's a lot happening with jobs. Obviously, we only have to look at the likes of BA and what's happening there. What would be your advice to people around looking after their resilience and their well-being during this period, with some people potentially going through some difficult times?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really hard for people, and it's easy to say you should do this or you should do that when we're in a privileged position where I've got decent outdoor space. I have a garden even that I can work in. I think for me, the most basic sports psychology principle was control the controllables. Because when you feel out of control of everything in your life, it's really difficult. And so there's going to be some things that are happening to you that you can't control. But I guess, how do you control your reaction to it? Yeah, so, it comes straight out of sports psychology. You're sitting on the start line of the race, and suddenly a thunderstorm comes along. You're rowing in the rain, or you're rowing in a big headwind. Well, can you react to it better than other people? And I think that's probably going to be the case for all of us, where we're facing a difficult time. And I suppose, stretching the metaphor, at the beginning, our leadership said we were all in the same boat. I think what's made people disgruntled is that we're all in the same storm, but we're in different boats. And different people are able to do different things with their boat than others. So I guess what I'm saying is, whilst we're riding out this storm, what can you control to look after what you're doing as well as you possibly can? And sometimes, just achieving some of the small things makes you feel a bit better that you're in control of something, albeit all that other stuff go on around us.
Great. And how about for yourself personally, Greg? What's keeping your ship in, I suppose, above the water, so to speak, not sinking?
No, absolutely. I mean, certainly trying to look after myself physically, and that helps me look after myself mentally. So I was a follower of Joe Wicks every day, and when we had nothing else, it was actually better. Just doing Joe Wicks was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then I started to layer in 100 press-ups a day, and then I threw in some rounds of golf, and then I buggered my back. So then I did some decorating, and then I buggered my wrist. So it's like, I backed off from the exercise. So actually, to just do manageable exercise each day, not overdo it, but just be active. I don't want to go on 2-hour bike rides dressed up in Lycra anymore. I've moved on from that stage of my life. But just being active. We've got a dog. We've got a nice place to walk. So to walk down, by the River Thames with my wife, and again, just have a quality conversation with her. We've talked more in the last 3 months, just one-on-one, than we've probably done the last 3 years. So to actually say, it's a nice thing to do, and to enjoy each other's company, and that's been great, actually. I've enjoyed her company. I'm not quite sure she always.
I was about to say, we'll get her on next week, Greg, and we'll ask the same question.
Yeah. Greg, she doesn't always like my attempts to do goal setting with her.
I can appreciate that. Tim, I've got one more, if you don't mind. Greg, I suppose one thing I'm really interested about is there is I'm not sure what the word is, debate, but I think there's a consensus actually that there's some stuff that's happening, or that's that we've been doing during lockdown, that some people want to continue when things open up again. I'm wondering what that may be for you. What, once lockdown's lifted, once things hopefully return a bit more back to normal, do you not want to just stop doing? Do you want to now continue and make a bit more of a habit and keep going with?
Yeah, I think the obvious one is probably less travel, more use of technology. That we've all got pushed into using mediums like this. And I work with many people one-on-one as a business coach. And actually, I've realized you get a kind of different level of intimacy like this. Adam, I can't help looking at those, the family shot on your shoulder. Tim's got the cars up behind him. We get a different kind of view into people's lives, don't we? And make a kind of different connection. I found that quite engaging, actually, and that I've in some ways built deeper relationships with the clients that I'm working with than I might have done if I was just meeting them in an office or maybe in a coffee shop. Plus, the lack of driving the car and the clean air and environment for me is just wonderful. And probably the other one, more time with my family. My wider family. So, shopping for my parents and taking them the groceries and leaving them at the end of the drive, having a short chat with them and then driving away. And now that's moved on to another level. Doing quizzes with my cousins, who otherwise we wouldn't see each other for kind of weddings and funerals. I'm reconnecting with people in a different way. And so I say those two things probably. Technology for work, and then just connecting with important loved ones, probably.
That must be the world's most competitive quiz, Greg. Is there anything like you? There must be fists flying on the virtual quiz for that winning
Funny
spot.
you should say that. Yeah, there are some competitive genes around and about the cousins, I think. Yeah.
Well,
There's not a lot of banter. There's not a lot of chat in between questions.
There's not. It's just focus. It's just pure focus. What's the next one?
Funny you should say it, actually. My parents play bridge. So my parents play bridge, card game. And they've always gone along and played with other real people, 2 or 3 nights a week. Now they're playing it on the computer, and they're playing with people in America, Canada, all around the world. And it's like, well, in some ways they're missing the interaction, but in some ways nothing gets in the way of the competition. There's no need to talk, you get, you play far more cards in a shorter amount of time, and you don't even get in your car to leave the house. So,
I love it.
It's good to see the 70s kind of
a continual reinforcement of where you got your competitiveness from, I imagine, Greg.
Yeah. Games played hard and by the rules. Yeah.
Well, Greg,
sorry, Tim. I've been hogging.
No, it's fine. I was going to say, Greg, your last video was titled "What's Important During Lockdown." As we come out of lockdown, would you be up for doing a new video for us that is what's important after lockdown? Maybe reflecting in a few weeks' time and seeing what you have held on to as we come out of this period of lockdown.
Yeah, I mean, I think this idea of transition is a really important one. As a sportsman or sportswoman, when people move on and have one really strong identity that you've done something for a long time, it's quite hard to shift and do something different. And I think as we transition out of lockdown, a lot of people's working lives might be not what they were before. So to actually think, if you've been a gymnast or a swimmer from the age of 5 years old to 15 or 25, it's very hard to transition to become not a swimmer. And I think in the same way, if we've had people who've gone to the same office, worked with the same colleagues, and we're cut off from them, hopefully just working from home, or maybe we're not able to work with them anymore at all, then I think that's a difficult thing to do. So I think to really figure out who we are beyond just what we do is really important. So yeah, I'd be happy to have a talk about how important it is to just remember who we are, which is, again, why it comes back to, I think, valuable time with our families, valuable time kind of with ourselves, going, what's important to me? How do I look after my resilience? And knowing who you are in transition, in difficult times is so important. So yeah, maybe we can put together a little video on that.
Brilliant.
Sounds like he's signed up, Tim. I knew if we put him on the spot, he'd do one. Greg, I don't think we could not have you on and ask about, obviously, the Olympics being delayed a year and how the athletes must be right now. Any insight for us from anyone you've spoken to that's planning to compete or almost tuning into how they may be feeling? Any insight to share for people of almost the world of Olympian at the moment with things being delayed a year?
Yeah, no, volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous, I would say. Not sure what to do, disappointed. One or two I know who've said they can't do it, which to me is disappointing. And if it were me, I would really try to squeeze one more year out. And actually, the opportunity to be an athlete for one more year to me would be a privilege. And that's what I say to them, that your sports career might feel difficult, it might feel hard, but to see it as a choice rather than a sacrifice, to choose to be an athlete for one more year, and to choose to see the opportunity that you get one more year of preparation. That going to the Olympic Games is like taking any test, and whoever walks into any test going, I've done enough work, I don't want to do any more revision, I've done enough work. And you walk into a test, you go, God, if only I'd spend a bit more time learning this. Yeah. So to try to help the people I've spoken to say, okay, so what would it look like if you had a whole nother year to prepare? And that doesn't mean 365 days on the rowing machine. That probably means a month off, letting you rest physically and mentally and get yourself into a really good place to actually go, right, how can I make this year be even better? Because you don't feel perfect, but you could say, right, how could I feel a little bit better when I come towards the Olympics? So obviously people are confused, and there's lots of people doing different things. And also you're going to start to think, we're doing worse in this country than they are in New Zealand. And New Zealand are really good at rowing. So they're now back fully rowing and in there, getting on with it. And our guys are still, isolated. They can get out in single sculls, but they can't get in an 8 together. But there's advantages to that. You've got personal responsibility in a single scull. If the boat tips around, if it goes fast, then it's you that made it go fast. So use it as an opportunity and not a threat. But again, like all these things, it's a bit hard to do.
Thanks, Greg. Brilliant.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Greg. That was superb. I think one of the loveliest things from your interview there is make today magnificent. I absolutely love that little thing. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Greg. Coming up on the channel this week.
From the sports psychologist, I've got to be honest. It's straight.
All the best people copy and paste.
50 days to the Olympics. How do you behave like a gold medalist each day? Because you're not going to win it on the day if you haven't done it for the last 50 or the last 1,000. So, if you want to achieve these stretching things, behaving well, making each day a masterpiece doesn't guarantee you get the result. It really doesn't. But it probably makes each day more pleasurable anyway, because you feel good when you go to bed. And you hope that they add up, but you hope you just feel good for the process of it.
Definitely. Absolutely. Well, we've got a great video coming on the channel this week that will hopefully make us all feel a bit better. We've actually got, I kid you not, laughing yoga going on the channel this week. Indeed. So if you've had enough of laughing,
Greg, was that part of your plans for the Olympics?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I guess.
Pardon the pun.
One of my biggest laughs of lockdown was actually, and I think we probably all had these moments, my daughter deciding to do yoga on a Zoom call in my bedroom without giving me any warning. So she was there getting on her mat, doing her stretches, having a conversation with the rest of the class as I walked in, having left my towel in the bathroom and appeared in the At which point she shouted, unfortunately, Dad, get out, which of course made her the loudest in the room, which made her go full size rather than
Greg, I can't help but think that's a proud moment by the look on your face as opposed to an embarrassing one.
Yeah. To be fair, she giggled her way through the rest of the session when so she's yoga, thinking my dad is such an embarrassment.
Just for the viewers, this isn't the laughing yoga we've got. If you tune in, you won't get Greg naked. Okay, maybe that's a different video.
Yeah, but please don't do that on your next video. Please don't do what's important after lockdown. Whoosh! This. We've also got some other great videos coming up for you as well. Penny is going to be joining us. She's actually doing 2 videos, and those are all top tips on nature. So, Greg, when they hit the channel later this week, maybe there's something you can pick up from her with your new green finger skills. And we have also got 2 videos as well coming from Steve King. He's doing one on music, but he's also doing one on business, which is lessons in leadership. So they're all coming up on the channel for you this week. But I think it's about time that we signed off, Adam and Greg. So a big thank you to Greg for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you for your previous video. It was fantastic. And we look forward to your next one.
No worries. Pleasure. Lovely talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Adam,
everyone.
I will see you next week. And to all of our viewers, we'll see you next week as well. Don't forget to make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell next to it as well to turn on notifications, and you will get a notification every single time a new video hits our channel. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you all again next week.